What about
One group
something
of
that's more
students-
substantive, not meant to be, not meant or intended as an undermining position, but actually a closely held belief? For example, if there is a class with a student who is a gay student who is recently married to his boyfriend, and there's a student who speaks up in class, perhaps it's religion, perhaps it's philosophy, perhaps it's law, who just says, I think that that is an abomination that should not be sustained. Is that, now that could be incredibly toxic to that individual, but the speaker is not speaking in order to attack that person or to put him down, but is sharing his position. What happens then?
So in my law class, I mean, I teach the same-sex marriage case because I teach constitutional law. That's out of bounds. That's not a legal argument. That has nothing to do, right? It's an abomination for reasons that have... But if you tell me why you think the Obergefell case is wrong as a matter of law, even if that might upset a student, that's completely...
Well, there are, as you know, there are students who would look to the Bible as their ultimate source of law, and I realize that's not the law that you're teaching, but if a person makes a reference to that, and I know we're getting very hypothetical here, but I find it an interesting hypothetical, and it might be realistic.
Example.
Sure.
So what I would do in that situation is I'd say, okay, you from here over, you take that side, and from here over, you take the other side. Whatever your real view is.
So you would not stop the conversation. You would go deeper into it.
No, if there's a substantive issue, as there might be in that case, depending on how it was expressed, if it wasn't just you shouldn't be married because you're not a full human being, that would not be. We wouldn't debate that. Is Joe a full human being?
But Michael, I mean, how does that square with your own definition? I mean, you gave a very different definition of safe space than I did. You said it was being able to speak your mind without fear of retaliation or attack. You know, if I say, you know, I just got married to my same-sex spouse, and you know, someone attacks that act, you know, that's an attack. So that's an attack on my identity, my union, and so how is, you know, what you talked about, opening that up for debate, consistent with upholding the idea of safe spaces that you articulated?
This would not be a real classroom debate. I mean, we would not be debating Michael's marriage to John. We wouldn't, I mean, in other words, I wouldn't come to class and Michael got married, let's debate whether he should have been able to marry. That's just not a real issue. What would be a real issue is what is the nature of marriage and how should we define it? And if you can take it away from an attack on Michael and John and turn it into a conversation about the principles at stake and have everyone in the classroom realize they could make a mistake, they could choose the wrong principle, they can make a bad argument, and there won't be retaliation or retribution, then it's a safe classroom.
But for the person who is in a same-sex relationship,
it'll be hard.
Wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be hard. Precisely, it'd be hard for them. And we need to allow these debates, even though they're hard, even though it might not feel safe. Right.
But it's safe enough for them to tolerate the debate without feeling that they are being excluded from the community. If someone says, well, you're only here because we let in people from your race, then what we're saying is you don't actually even belong in the room with us.
But what if they say to you, you make this debate, you stage this debate, I say to you, you know what, this makes me feel extraordinarily uncomfortable. This is my identity that you're debating here as if it's some abstract ideal. You know, my life and my safety, my sanctity of my family hinges on this, and I feel profoundly unsafe in this classroom. Would you shut the debate down?
No, I would actually say, well, let's talk about that. And I would try to turn that into a teachable moment where some people, the class may conclude, we shouldn't do this. But it would be a product of a classroom if people felt, I actually count enough, I belong in this classroom, I can risk saying things that might be offensive.